everybody? Jon Lunceford.
Rockstar, Sean, whatever you want to call me.
Heninger.
Scott Forrester here.
Scott.
It's me.
Scott
Hi.
Forrester.
Hi, all.
You know us as the people you don't really see on camera. I guess you see Rocky on camera a little bit, but we are the back room. We're currently in the front room, or the room, and then back there is the back room. And yeah, we had this idea for a little show that's kind of a behind-the-scenes look. We're kind of in charge of actually making sure the show goes on the air every day and make sure these guys look good. Behind the camera is the actual studio you see on camera. But yeah, Reed, our fearless leader, and us, we kind of decided to do an extra show. So this is the back room.
And we decided, good decision with Lunceford, but where do we record this thing? And what if we did it in the most uncomfortable, unsightly thing in this studio, the Lego chair? And this thing is super convenient. It's very, what they call uncomfortable.
Very geometric.
Yeah, it's I don't understand it, and we hardly use it, so why not use it for this? Because Lance this is a must-have for the studio that is underutilized. It's a fun little piece of art deco that I don't enjoy.
The second time I've ever sat on this thing.
Yeah, you notice when we have guests in the studio, they're always in a chair in front of this.
Yes, this was
never
originally
actually
supposed
sit
to be
here.
for guests. And can you imagine? We kind of fill this up. Can you imagine Charles Barkley sitting where
Yeah.
Scott is sitting doing an interview? No, we
That was the
can't.
first thing that was mentioned when this was picked out was Charles Barkley, friend of the show, going to be in studio, has been in studio. Imagine him sitting on this, a bigger guy. I'm a bigger guy. I'm super uncomfortable on this. And the three of us were kind of really close to each other.
Yeah. I feel like
on
I'm
this
posing
chair.
with Santa.
So, yeah, originally this was going to be like a bar. At least that was the idea I think Jim had. I don't know if anybody else had that idea, but this is going to be a bar right here. People are going to stand behind it, serve drinks. Never has that been done. Never has anything been done on this except for what we're doing right now.
Hey, you can't get behind it. We got it wedged against the wall at an angle, by the way.
That would be tough.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
very, very excited.
If you notice, this is kind of at an angle because the studio desk is right here, so we can't really get there. So yeah, we decided to do it on the most uncomfortable piece of furniture in the entire office. You know, when we built this office, in hindsight, I guess there's a lot of things we would have done differently, as you would always say when you start a company and do different things. But there's a womb chair right here that's really weird that nobody has sat in either.
It looks like something, I hate to say it looks like something we got from Staples. It is equally uncomfortable. That is the ottoman where I almost broke my back. Doing the Texas A&M roll call. What is it called?
Oh, the yell leader.
Yeah, I was trying to slide with my socks, and to be funny, and off camera,
Nobody sits in this either.
yeah, I fell hard on the lower back, and it hurt for a good month. I thought I was going to have back problems. What you do for comedy to not be seen is, you work for your craft. Chevy Chase did it when he did President Ford. He's got super bad back problems right now because of that, because he always fell.
And every once in a while during the show, if we've got a studio full of guests, you'll see somebody sitting in that
In the
chair
shot.
right behind Brown, just kind of.
Though it doesn't annoy Scott at all.
No, I hardly notice.
It looks good for a shot when you see a guy's top of his head and his forehead and his hair.
And with this, people will sit where Scott is, but they'll sit up, like how Rocky is right now. And Lance's camera is right there, and their back of their head will be in Lance's camera.
That
so,
never gets on my nerves
yeah,
either. So.
It's
What we're saying is that we decorated. We thought everything's super convenient and it looks good, looks crisp, looks what we call professional in the business.
yeah. So this is the
I got a
Lego
little
chair.
spit on you. Got
This
it.
is the studio. We may upgrade this, I hope. One day we're going to, the scene in Office Space where the printer, won't print, right? And
PC load letter.
yeah, they take the printer out and they beat it with a bat while Ghetto Boys is playing in the background.
Yeah.
We're going to do this one day to the Lego
We're just
chair.
gonna have to have like knives and stuff and just kill the upholstery because I don't think we're breaking this. But I would say just a bunch of knives and like throwing stars, and just destroy this thing.
How would Lance take that?
He wouldn't let it happen. So this is just a pipe dream. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. This thing's going to be here forever, and we're going to have to deal with it, but nobody else is going to deal with it because we're never actually going to use it. So it's just here because Lance got it. But anyway, we talked about getting us a camera back there. We don't have a camera back there yet. It took us like a year to get microphones. So we still have we have microphones now. We still don't have a camera. So this is our chance to kind of show things off, show us off, and we're here on the Lego chair. All right, March Madness is going on right now, and the bracket challenge is all anybody really cares about. I'm curious to see how these bracket challenges play out. I know Jim says his is the worst. I think the hardest should be the country song, but Lance is going to outsource it to a lot of people.
Yes.
Well, no, I would say, I don't know what the worst is. The most taxing, I would say, is the most hardworking is the country song.
For
because
sure. Should be.
It's not the worst. I think I'm trying to decide what the worst is. Brown's already traveled before.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have a limit of how many testicles he has to consume. If you're out of context, that's even better. And then with Dunaway, I do think the shoot, because I'm a guy that's not, but I didn't think, are we going to do shirtless shots? Like, I don't think we're going to make him get down and do the Cupid thing with a diaper and a bow and arrow. Like, I think it's just going to be uncomfortable stuff, but we're not going to make him go shirtless. So
he can wear white tee with
I would say wife beaters are about the only, the skimpiest stuff we give him. So I don't think, his is funny, but I don't think he's making it think we're going to have him on a naked shoot in a bathtub drinking a glass of wine.
Jim's has the potential of being the most embarrassing one, but if we really went after it.
But it would be over the quickest, because it would be one day, one photo shoot, done. Brown's got to travel for several days to, what state is it?
Appleton, Wisconsin.
Yeah. Wisconsin, which is going to suck. The travel sucks, but Lance, I think, is the hardest work to get. There's so much involved in making a music video. Scott, good luck with that.
Thank you.
And writing a song, Rockstar, good luck with that. And Lunceford, doing all the logistics, good luck with that.
How long would Lance's part of that take, you think?
Not long at all. It'd be really frustrated if you can't get the camera angle right. Like, I got somewhere to be at 1:30. I don't know what you're doing. We can't do this today.
Lance would probably have too many ideas that he should, like, you should have to put a lot of work into this, coming up with the ideas and everything. But the thing is, Lance would have so many ideas about it, they would be like, you know what, just let me handle this part. Like, it's easier on us if you just let us handle it.
Right, making it harder.
Which then makes it easier on him in turn.
So, yeah, I do think his is the hardest, because you're talking about a guy that doesn't write songs. It's just almost like telling me I got to make a short film. And I'm like, oh my God, I've never done it before. I got to get all this equipment. I have to ask all these questions. I got to rely on people. And then I'm like, well, actually, I'm going to have them do the work for me. Just like, will you do my homework for me? So, but he actually has to be in the video. So whatever the hell, do we get to pick his outfit and everything? Or is that he gets to select his outfit? And
I don't really know.
I didn't read the
that's the thing. There's not a lot of
rules and conditions.
The parameters I don't think are have been released.
But also with the March Madness challenge, as it typically is, they are not the top 3 of the people working here. I think Rocky won last year of all employees. I mean, everybody did really bad last year except for Rocky. This year I'm currently in first, followed by Scott and Reed, followed by Rocky and Kelsey, I believe. Everybody ahead of them. I feel like if they're the sports pundits that everybody listens to, I feel like everybody that beats them from the office should be able to, that should add something to the punishment. Like, if you're getting beat by, the 3 of us, Reed, Kelsey, Taylor, her champion's out, probably won't win, but if you're getting beat by everybody else in the office, then that should add something to the punishment. We should be able to punish them harder.
Put some extra sauce in there.
Yeah.
They won't agree to that, but because it shows that there's no initiative on our part. Look, they say it's easier to pick when you have nothing at stake.
And sorry, little T, but having seen her bracket, I don't think she's gonna be in on that.
It looks bad.
It's rough.
I lost 3 of my final 4. By the way, my formula is no research. I don't know any of these teams. It takes me literally 2 minutes and I'll pick a bunch of high seeds, what Layman picks, and then I'll just do a random. I'll just say this person gets upset. I don't think about it. And my Final Four, I've lost 3 of the 4 Final Four. I think I have Houston left. That's it. Who I think I said was going to win the championship. Lost the rest of my Final Four.
Well, Jim's landmine that, so
yeah.
I apologize. How do you pick yours usually?
I go through it once, just kind of gut reaction, and then I change all that.
Yep. Go against yourself.
Yes. I overthink it, and I ended up changing it probably 4 or 5 times before I submit it.
I have a formula. It's called Google, and whatever the first formula that pops up in Google, I typically go with that and say, you know what, they make a valid point. I'm going to go with that. And then I'll read another formula that'll go the exact opposite, and then I'll change my bracket, and basically whichever one I've last come upon before the bracket's closed Thursday morning.
But have you ever, looked at your bracket and think I'm just going to get ridiculed because I have all 4 ones in the Final Four. And I'm just like, oh my God, of course you picked all 4 ones. Like I did 3 ones and a 2. I think I had Arizona in the Final Four. I don't know anything. Couldn't name a player from Arizona.
Should be a safe bet. I mean, Purdue's not supposed to lose that early. I mean, Kansas isn't supposed to lose that early. I mean, if you had Alabama, Houston, Kansas, I know we all hated Purdue to begin with, but that should be the safe bet, especially Alabama and Houston because they still seem like they can very much do it. But, yeah, I don't know what Jim's formula is. It ain't working because he went 3-100 last year in Vegas.
Oof.
And, still doing pretty bad this year. But
to do.
He is in first place. So as of right now, he will not have to, strip down for a calendar shoot like he thinks he's going to have to. He talks about, like, Cupid, like he's going to have to be in a diaper and all that. Like, you can wear, like, a toga and get away with it.
Yeah.
I feel like, I have to, like, show.
And we've seen Jim in a toga.
Yeah.
July is going to be a good month, though. I don't know what we're going to do for July.
He's convinced he's going to be a
Statue of
hot
Liberty.
fireman.
Yeah, God bless America.
Like June, he's going to be a hot fireman, but even then, he can be a hot fireman and not have to show his, like, bare chest or anything. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But Sweet 16 and Elite 8 coming up. It will probably be decided by then if I had to guess, but there's a chance it could come down to Alabama and Houston, which they all have, or Jim has Alabama and Houston, but Lance and Brown have Alabama winning it all. So it could come down to that based on the scoring. However, we decided to start this. This is the week between the first 2 weekends of March Madness. But tomorrow, as of this, I don't know if I can put it out today or not, but as of Wednesday, I'm like Jim, promising things we can't do. Scott will be heading out of town. Scott will be heading off on a fun European vacation that hopefully won't play out like European vacation.
They had a good time.
Hopefully it goes better than that.
They had a good time. They got to see Stonehenge. What are you talking about? He got to sleep with another woman?
No,
She wouldn't leave his bed.
I don't think it's going to go down like that.
Okay.
Not quite like that. But that then brings the question, how much are you going to pay attention to the show when you're gone?
I'll check in from time to time. I'll see what we're cutting up and putting out, but
Probably not a lot.
not a lot. Not a lot. We're going to be pretty busy, so.
Yeah, I'll be filling in. I'll run the cameras. That's about it. I'm sure Jim will yell at me to get cuts, but I'm not as good at that as Scott is.
It's a lot of press conferences to listen to.
When you're gone, typically, I mean, do you pay attention? I mean, you're in another country. You're on the other side of the planet this time, but when you're gone, normally, do you pay attention to the show?
Yeah. Probably more so than I'll be able to this
Let's
time.
not say pay attention. Let's say tune in.
Yeah, do you even tune in?
Like, do you pull up YouTube and just like, hey, I'm just going to watch, it's 10 o'clock, I just want to see what's going on. Haven't heard from them in a couple of days. Not Twitter. I'm
You
going
can
to take
say
Twitter
no,
out
it's
of it.
okay.
No, not a lot.
Okay. Well, I think they would say the same thing.
No, they would 100% say the same thing. Like, Rocky's on the road for 4 weeks. I mean, how many times did you actually turn the show on?
I did what, three or four hits on Zoom, and I listened to the segment before. And you know how bad I am with Twitter. The only thing I would get updated with the show is I was still on the group text about who the guest lineup was the next day, whenever that sporadically comes in or not. And the great thing was I remember the Brandon Miller story dropped, and the Clay Travis thing dropped, and I remember I was like, I am so glad I'm not there for this, that I don't have to deal with the callers and the chat room, people going up, either defending him or crucifying him. I was like, I'm just glad I don't have to be a part of that. I think we were like in Albuquerque that day, which I'm not a fan of Albuquerque, sorry. I know everybody loves Breaking Bad, but my God, sorry to get off on a tangent. But
Albuquerque was a lot better than dealing with that.
Yes, I think it was, I'm glad. I don't really check in. I don't really check in with sports, the big stories, if I'm not here. I don't really, because again with the Twitter thing, so it'd be a big negative for me. It's just something to get away from work. I'm doing a totally different job. Try to get away from that mentality for the time I'm here. Take away that extra stress.
I typically only try to take like weekend vacations where I miss like a Friday or a Monday. If I do, I almost always turn the show on at the beginning. I'll get like the alert when the show goes live, just to make sure everything's up and running. I rarely has something crazy happen when I've been gone, but I'll pay attention somewhat. But really, for me, it is Twitter. I have to keep track on Twitter.
Yep.
I'll see Scott will tweet out clips from press conferences to let me know what's happening. Like today, okay, Nick Saban's talking. I would know what happened with that. Hugh Freeze is talking. I would know what happened with that. And that's kind of how I keep track of it. But once the show's going good, I know everybody's good. That's when I go back and start enjoying my vacation. But, we'll see.
Then we call you and ask you, what button is this that it's not working? Sorry, what button is this?
Hey, what does Tyler need to do for this? Hey, what do I need to do for this?
Yeah.
This broke.
First off, are you enjoying your vacation? Good, but before you answer, let me ask you something real quick.
Who won last night?
Yeah, that's what somebody's whose name starts with the same letter as mine says every time. Hey, how's your vacation? Anyway,
It starts with
before I
him.
even answer.
It rhymes with him.
Yes. Rhymes with him, starts with the same first letter as my name, and it's instantly, I really don't care about your vacation, but how's your vacation anyway? Everything's broken, and we're all dying, and everything's happening here. Please fix it.
But we're fine.
But other than that, everything's great. How's your vacation?
I'm glad you took that week off. It's really convenient of you to be off when everything's broken.
Yeah, who talk about the looks I got when I took a week off in football season to go to Vegas. But anyway, so this wasn't really any much of a format, really. I didn't even bother to put this under my shirt. I don't guess anybody did.
I did. I put it under my jacket, but I
just
super
realized
professional.
Probably had my microphone backwards, so probably nobody heard me. But anyway, this is the back room. We are not in the back room. We may be in the back room. We don't really know. We're working on a few different cool things here, and this is the back room. But coming up on future editions of this, I don't know if we'll do one next week without Scott or not. Maybe we'll bring Reed in for that. Talk to him what he sees from being A, Lance's brother, and B, being kind of in charge of this whole shindig here up at Double Down Media in the next round. Also, I'm bound and determined to tell my first impression story that was brought up a year ago, and they said, we'll talk about it on the show tomorrow. And it has never been brought back up. People in the chat have brought it up, and it's like, we'll do it on the show tomorrow. About 5 different times, and it's never happened. So I'm going to say it here. They already know what it is, but the person who it's about doesn't know what the story is. They just know it's about them. So I'll bring
such a good tease.
I'll bring that up. I'll bring that up at some point. I am curious though, because I came into the round table in 2008. So that was 15 years ago as an intern. Scott's been with us for a couple of years now. I mean, I know you already knew who everybody was. Brown's done stuff with 30 through 40 and Jim being at TV and all as well. And then Rocky's been, how long has it been? You've been with Lance.
2006, I believe. I was with Dixon and Willoughby in 2005 and 2006 on API, and then I was a remote technician for Lance, doing all his remotes and audio and stuff like that, and for the remotes. And I would somehow got into being a producer, and that was when the show was, I think, an hour, maybe 2 hours. And I started from there, and then Dunaway and Brown came in, 2009? 2010? Yeah. So they've been with it since the inclination. I think, I can't remember when Lance started. He probably started in 2002, 2003.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of co-hosts, and we finally landed Dunaway and Brown, which was not a fun first 3 months.
We got to have our first impressions of everybody. Everybody's first impression when they first came in. I was with Lance and Ian when I first started, but I have an interesting first impression with both Jim and Lance. So we'll give that at some point. We'll also talk about what we hate about everybody.
Oh.
So you need to make sure to tune into that episode as well. But
Could be the last episode.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. That'll be a few episodes down the line. But this is the back room and just kind of a little extra something we're doing here for 15, 20 minutes a week. And talking about everything going on. It's March Madness. And make sure to check out your bracket on the Red Bracket Challenge and see if you can beat Charles Barkley. He's doing really bad. He's like 1,400 something. So
is Taylor beating him?
You're probably beating him. She probably is.
Oh.
She may not overall because she's lost all of her Final Four, but she probably is beating him right now. He's not doing very good to be somebody who actually pays attention to this. But anyway, Scott,
Yes.
Rocky,
Yes.
I'm John.
Hey, John.
Bye.
Love you.